Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name's Austin. The Last Showgirl is starring Pamela Anderson. A seasoned showgirl must plan for her future when her show abruptly closes after a 30-year run. So we started pretty good with Better Man. Didn't love it, didn't hate it, thought it was alright. And now I saw The Last Showgirl, and yeah, if I saw this in 2024, this would be on my worst movies list. I would rather watch Venom: The Last Dance over this movie. Before we get into the negatives, like the cinematography is really good. It's a well designed, put together film from a production standpoint. Like the cinematography, like the costume designs. I really like the costumes. You don't really get to see much of the costumes in action, but I do like the costumes. The acting. Pamela Anderson, that plays Shelley, does a very good job in the film. I mean, I found her character very fucking annoying, but she did very well with what she was given and what the character was. She did a very good job at that. And you had also, like, Jamie Lee Curtis in the film. I can't remember the name of the girl or even say her name. But she was in Ghostbusters Afterlife and Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. She plays like the daughter in that movie. You even have Dave Bautista in the movie. So the movie surrounding it has a very well cast, a very well cinematographer, and a very well production design leader. Everything in this movie looks great and is performed great. When you really start seeing an issue with your movie is when you think that you're starting to get through the second act of the film, but really you're just getting through the first act. That's a big fucking issue. And this movie is only 90 minutes long. And this movie felt like it was 3 hours long. I was ready to go home at the 40-minute mark because essentially nothing happens. And if anything does happen, it's never really resolved. It's just like it just happens to be resolved. Like you don't see why anything is resolved in this movie. It's just like deal with it type of deal. And that's like really the mentality with our main lead in this movie. Is like, just deal with it. Just don't judge me for what I've done. Just deal with it. Because the story here, you have like a 45-year-old woman who has only been part of one show for most of her life. And it suddenly now is abruptly ending because, it's just outdated. It's not what people are interested in anymore. So they're bringing something else in that is doing a lot better than her show. It's not really her show. She's not even the lead of the show, but she's been the face of it for, I don't know, decades, I guess. So the movie is dealing with her trying to figure out what to do next. And I do that because it's really not of her figuring out. It's just like, oh, your show's ending. I'm going to moan for half of the movie and suddenly it's going to be about, well, it's something I love, even though I wasn't getting paid much for it, which I understand to a degree, but it eventually just turned into someone whining because they're not getting what they want. She also has a daughter in this movie who shows up for 5 minutes of the whole entire movie to have this big subplot that goes absolutely fucking nowhere. And that, the relationship is not very on steady grounds because her mom is like this exotic dancer in a way. I guess. I don't know what you would call this. And she did not have the best way of taking care of her daughter at a very young age, so her daughter has this big grudge against her, which is very cliche in a lot of movies, but it could have been something interesting that they could have dived into, but they don't. They really fucking don't, because half of this movie is people going like looking around and just walking around Las Vegas. Like that's literally half this movie. And some people that really like this movie be like, Austin, you just don't get it. It's art, all right? You see it in their expression. You see it in their face that they're struggling, that they're trying to find their place in this world after, what's going on. And it's like, yeah, I understand that, but I don't fucking care. Because the movie just didn't do anything to get me to care. And it's like, it had an interesting setup, but after a while, that's all the movie was a setup. That's all. Like there was no progression to it. There's no clear narrative at all in this movie. It jumps all over the place. Characters like each other out of nowhere, even though that they hate each other 2 seconds ago. And it's like, and next the resolution between Shelly and her daughter is just resolved. You know, and the thing is, it does this cliche thing where it's Shelly's daughter says Shelly throughout the whole entire movie, at least the 5 to 10 minutes that she was in the movie, and next disappears for like 40 minutes, and next is supposed to have this applause towards the end with them rebuilding their relationship somehow. But my point being is that she ends up saying mom towards the end. It's like you predict that happening, but it's just so out of nowhere. It's like, where were you for half the movie to get this resolution of like, oh yeah, everything's forgiven. You know, yeah, yeah. She's just unlikable. She doesn't care for anyone else's needs besides her own. Like when anyone else needs her help, just goes like, no, no, I already have a daughter that I ignored for like 30 years, but I already have a daughter. But I don't need this, and it's nah, no. But hey, I need your help. And she can judge other people, and next when other people judge her, she gets all upset. It's such a fucking, and it doesn't really help that your main lead's a whiny little fucking brat, and also kind of sounds like Marty from Independence Day. David, oh my god. And I just simply did not fucking care about this last show, especially when you don't even get to see the show. And people that have seen the movie will say, well, no, honestly, you do get to see the show. And it's like, I'm sorry, 3 minutes towards the end does not fucking count. There's nothing to root for in this movie. If the whole movie was building up to like, hey, this is going to be our final show. Like we have 2 more weeks. Let's make something out of it. And next, yeah, that would be something. But there's nothing to root for in this movie. I don't want to root for this character because she sucks. I hope she has a horrible death at the end of this. See, people might be upset, but see, fictional, reality. I would not say that to a real person. But since this person is a fictional character, I don't care to hurt the character's feelings because the character doesn't have any feelings. The only feelings in this world that will be hurt is the person that wrote it. So if you don't want to have your feelings hurt, write something better. Besides, like, all about the production, the only actual good thing when it came to the actual movie itself I liked is when she was getting ridiculed by some guy that she was trying to audition for another show. And I'm like, yes, I agree. I'm like, you fucking roast her. And at this point in the movie, I thought like, okay, maybe we'll actually see some actual form of character development. Nope. Not a single bit. I'm going to give The Last Showgirl a D-. The only thing that is good about this movie is the production design when it comes to the cinematography, the costumes that you barely get to fucking see, and the acting. And next, that one scene where the main lead gets ripped into. I don't see how people can connect with this at all. I do understand that like it's hard to let things go. Like I can see people connecting into that, but actually caring about this main lead and not accepting the what her fate is going to be basically, and like she needs to move on type of deal. Because like that's the state that she's been stuck in for 30 years, but she never accepts that. So it's like, what character development what does she go through? Like I don't know. Anyway, guys, thank you much for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.